Okay, so we're back. I have entered all of the points on my calculator. You have 2. If you haven't, stop this video right quick. Just pause it and be sure you get those all entered, because what we're going to do next is we are going to look and see how we can have the calculator plot those points onto a piece of graph paper like this. Well, not a piece of graph paper here, but rather than a piece of graph paper on here. Okay, so since we want the calculator to plot these, then guess what we need? We need a new page. So I'm going to give myself a new page. I need a graphs page. And this is if I was going to graph a function, which I will do in a minute. But right now, I want it to just graph those dots. Okay, so I am, first of all, though, going to set my window up to graph, to be able to see the dots. So I'm going to use the graph paper that they give me right here as kind of a cheat sheet. Look at the x-axis. It goes from, we'll say, -1 over here all the way to 17. So we need the graph paper on here to go from, let's say, -1 to 17. So how do we do that? We're going to press Menu. We are going to fix the window. That's what it's called. The size of the graph paper is called the window, and we're going to go to Window Settings. This is the x-axis right here. We only want it to show from -1 up to 17. And right here, what they mean by scale is they're asking, how did they count along the x-axis? They counted by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the scale of the x-axis right here is by 1. So I'm just going to click 1 right here. Okay, then let's go back and look on the y-axis. How big was the y-axis on here? Let's go ahead and say it goes down to negative what? This is 50 right here, so halfway between 0 and 50 is what, 25? So it goes from -25 all the way up, we'll say, to 425. Okay, so it goes from -25 all the way up to 425, and I believe it counted by 25s. So let's press OK. So now we can see if these numbers are, we need to move the x-axis up a little bit and the y-axis in, then you can just go and change that -25 and that -1. But we'll see. Okay, so we've got it set. Now, what we want to do is we want to change this to be a scatter plot. So when you press Menu, you slide on over here to Graph Entry. In other words, do you want to graph a function? Do you want to graph a relation? We want to graph a scatter plot. So we're going to choose scatter plot right here. And they're asking us, where do you want us to get our x values? Well, remember where we put our x values over here? We put them on, we called it S. The x values were called S, and the y values were called M. So when I go back over here to this other page, I just need to type in right there, look in the list that's labeled S, and right here, look in the list that's labeled M. And when you press enter, they plotted those points. Okay, so each one of those points right there is a point from that table of values. I don't know why it's blinking. I bet if we traced it, see, it shows there's 154, this one down here. Use the left and right arrow key. There's 0, 0, 154, 2, 179, 3. See, those are all the points. Okay, so be sure you know how to do that again. If you need to, go back and rewatch the video. I'm going to go ahead and stop this one right here because the next step is going to be, may make my video run a little bit long. So all I've shown you how to do is how to fix your window, and how to plot do a scatter plot, and then how to trace your points. Okay, so that's what I've shown you how to do.